you're not living in a mansion and you have a personal butler and a personal maid and staff that all you have to do is ring the bell or clap twice.
Tap, tap.
They're
Yeah.
like, "Hello, ma'am. How may I be of service?" No, they're not that.
Not at all.
They're not that. At the
Right.
end of every Friday or every 2 weeks or however they get paid, the paycheck doesn't have the resident's name on it. It has the company that they work for.
Mm-hmm.
That is who is paying, right? So don't treat them like they're beneath you because they're not. They are human beings. They are equals just like you. Because the top of your mountain is the bottom of someone else's.
That's true. That's well said.
I'm preaching today.
Right.
You preaching today.
Preach on, brother.
Huh?
Preach on. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
She bye.
My boy crazy as hell, man.
Oh man.
Let's go.
Maintenance.
Hey guys, welcome back to the third episode of the Maintenance Diaries, man. Tres.
Episode 3, baby.
Yeah, man. It's good to be back. I hope you guys having a good week, a good day, a good month, a good year. I'm just saying it all right now. What's going on, my boy?
What's going on with you, bro?
Man,
Glad
good
to
to
be
see
back.
you, man. Good to see you. Man, today is a special day. It is because we are highlighting the unsung heroes in the apartment industry.
Yep.
And who are those heroes, my boy?
Those are our cleaners.
Fact.
The ones who go in and day out, and they don't say much. They get the job done, and they just keep moving throughout the day.
Yeah.
Those are the unsung heroes of the apartment industry, in my opinion.
Facts. To be honest with you, man, cleaners are the last and the first impression in every unit. Because after the maintenance team do whatever they have to do, they leave. Then the cleaners come in and put the finishing touches, put the icing on the cake, make sure everything is good, everything is pristine. So whenever that new residents move into their new home, it is exactly the way they like it. Clean, smells good, smells amazing. Because the building outside, the outside aesthetics of the building could be pretty, the amenities could be pretty, but once they move into their new home, their new apartment, it has to match the aesthetics of the rest of the building, and the cleaners play an important role.
I agree.
So nobody so far in my lifetime has given flowers to the cleaners.
Yeah.
The cleaners are as important as maintenance technician. They're important as supervisor. They are supervisors. They are also important as property managers because the role that cleaners play is very vital, is very important. And this episode is dedicated to every cleaner out there.
That's right. And look, every morning, like they come in without problem, without issues.
Yeah.
They get the place ready before most of us even get there.
Yeah.
They're taking
That's
care
true.
of the amenity spaces. They're cleaning
That's
the
true.
offices, the back office, taking out the trash. They're doing everything before the whole office gets there. And then once the office gets there, they're able to go to the next step. So today is about giving the cleaners their flowers. And we want to let them know that they are loved, they are enjoyed, and they are appreciated. So today we're going to get into it, Mike. So on a typical day, we've already kind of explained it, but let's just start from the beginning and explain a typical day of a cleaner and what they do.
So
and some of the strict timelines. Don't forget the
Oh
time
yeah,
frame of when things have to get done. So that
man,
part.
bro. Sometimes the timeline is crazy.
Hmm.
To be honest with you, and as a maintenance tech, like on my job, I try to do whatever I can to help the cleaners because first of all, we're you know, get to work around 8 in the morning. Before maintenance get to the property, the cleaners are already there
Yep.
because they're not just cleaning apartment units, they're cleaning the entire property.
Yep.
The interior actually of the property and the outside amenity spaces
Mhm.
that they're cleaning, right? So they're already there doing everything that they have to do to make sure the place is pristine before the office opens up at 9 a.m.
Right.
And they're running around having like 3 4 bags of trash on their cart, and the cart is so small there's no room for trash bags, so
Mhm.
they have to leave the trash bags to the side, go to another side of the building, clean up, bring the trash bag over, add it to what they have. And I'm looking and I'm observing and I'm like, this is crazy. Like, why do they have to work that hard but they don't have the proper equipment
Mhm.
to make their job easier? You know what I mean?
That's right.
So while I'm walking the grounds and if I see a cleaner, have a few trash bags just piled up until they're done with whatever area they have to do, I'll just go take it to the trash. When they come back outside and they notice the trash bag is gone, they already know it's either me or you.
Mhm.
Because I can only speak from our experience because we of course work together and we
Yeah.
experience this on a daily basis, you know.
I agree.
But before the maintenance team gets to the job or the supervisor gets to the job, before the office is open to welcome potential new residents, the
Mhm.
cleaners are there,
They are
making
there.
sure the place is clean.
They are on site.
Yeah,
They are on site. So just with them getting everything ready in the morning, and getting everything taken care of, especially as far as like the office staff getting their offices
yeah,
clean up their trash. Then they're headed to the amenity spaces. They're cleaning the
Mhm.
restrooms in there. They're taking out the trash if there was a party in there. Sometimes, residents doesn't leave it in the best of shapes, and they got to get in there and get it presentable for the day. And just watching their movements and how they do things, it's just astonishing because they're going all over the place. They're doing
Yeah.
this and they're doing that, and it's like, man, like I've never seen a person move so much day in and day out and doing the same meticulous job day in and day out, and they do it with a smile on their face. I mean, they're smiling when you talk to them. They're happy. They're very pleasant, and it's just something to see. Like it gives me motivation to be like, man, like I love that attitude, and that makes me want to carry a better attitude throughout my day because
Yeah.
just seeing them do what they do, and it's like, man, I know I have something to be appreciative for just to have a job and be here too.
Facts.
And
Yeah.
I just enjoy what they do. That I really do admire cleaners.
Yeah, me too, bro. I actually admire them, and a lot of cleaners. Sometimes I can tell
Hmm.
of the stress that they have, right? Because we all we all get stressed out sometimes, but you can't mix. They say don't bring the problems from your home to the job, right?
Hmm.
And sometimes a lot of cleaners, when I look at them and they're cleaning, bro, it looked like they'd be going through some stuff, but they have to put on this mask. Even maintenance too, and even the leasing agents. I mean, every facet of the industry, everybody goes through this, right?
But it, I see what you're saying, and and you can see it, and not saying that when you say that, I see the actual visual because
Right, right.
cleaners are doing like the bottom of the job on the totem pole. They're
Hmm.
the ones being the hygienic person to take care of everything and sanitize everything. And when you're doing that and you got daily stuff going on with you, it kind of it has a burden on you. And I
Yeah,
can see that happening to them. And when you say like they're cleaning, you can kind of tell by like sometimes there can be expressions on their face or how they're moving and looking. You can tell, but they have to put on a facade that just clicked in my mind like, wow, you're right, because they're probably saying, I'm cleaning up behind these messy people and
yeah,
that can't even act like they clean up behind themselves, but and they're not even respecting me, and I got this going on, and I'm the reason why this place looks good.
Yeah, that is facts, bro. And it is disappointing, of course, coming from me as a forget the maintenance side,
Mhm.
but as a human being that actually care for another human being, right?
Right.
I'm looking at them and I'm like, they have to put on a facade and act like everything is happy, everything is good,
Mm-hmm.
and the only people that really say hi to them is probably maintenance and the supervisor. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Um, Residents don't really care about cleaners. Not all residents, but most residents, they really don't care.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, they're here to do a job. We Let's make the mess and have them clean it up. Versus let us take responsibility and accountability so everybody's day can be better
Yep.
and everybody's job can be lighter and less stress.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually touched on that in the second episode, right?
Yep, we sure did.
Yeah, but cleaners play such an important role, and because I look at them and I know what they go through, right?
Right.
And like you say, cleaners are at the bottom of the totem pole. And in my opinion, in my view, cleaners and maintenance are the lobsters of the apartment industry
Yeah.
and supervisors as well. We are
Definitely
the
supervisors.
yeah, we are the lobsters of the industry, bro. We are bottom feeders, but yet put us on a plate and make us look good. We are priceless.
So
almost.
think about what a bottom feeder does. A bottom feeder cleans the ocean.
Exactly.
They clean the lakes, the rivers. They are the ones that keep the ecosystem good and keep it running.
Mhm.
So technically, we may be the bottom feeders, but we've got the most important job of all.
We have the most important job of all, but we don't get treated and valued for our importance to
Wow.
the industry.
Wow. Well, that is 100% correct.
Yeah. I'm preaching safe for the people in the back.
Just so y'all
We
can
are
hear it.
valuable to the industry, but we need to be seen and treated as the valuable assets that we are and what we bring.
That's right.
I've said this so many times and I'll keep saying it again because I have to say it so people can get it. Like, we are really important.
Because when you think about it, when you're in an industry like multifamily industry,
Yeah.
You can have right now we're in the age of AI.
Mhm.
You can have a virtual leasing agent answer all the questions, talk to all the people. It's done digitally.
Send you videos of the
send you
walkthrough.
videos of the walkthrough.
Yeah.
Everything can be
Yeah.
done digitally. Only thing can't be done digitally is that cleaner cleaning up the space when they get there to see it, do those turns,
Yeah.
do those units,
Yeah.
vacuum those hallways.
Yeah.
They're not there. They can't do that digitally.
Yeah.
They can't do the maintenance job digitally. When we go there to even take care of work orders and handle a personal problem that these residents have, there's no virtual assistant to do that.
Right.
So when you do say the bottom feeders, like the lobsters and the shrimp of the industry,
Mhm.
but aren't the lobsters and the shrimp usually like the most prized thing? That's what people want to go out and eat, the steak and lobster, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I wear it as a badge of honor.
Yeah. I feel you on that, bro. I feel you, bro.
So let me ask you, Mike. Have you ever seen a cleaner completely transform a space? Like
Every day, bro. Every day.
Yeah.
Every day they transform the space because a lot of the times, like for the property that we worked at, right? And if you go and look at the reviews,
Mhm.
they always talk about, oh, the amenity is clean and this is clean and this is nice and whatnot.
Right.
It's not just the maintenance. The maintenance is doing the part of making sure the grounds look good,
Mhm.
right? And if there are like furnitures, like outdoor furnitures that's out of place, we put them in place to make sure the aesthetics are pleasing to the human eyes, right?
Right.
But the cleanliness of the amenities and the rest of the property, that is the cleaner.
That is definitely
You
the
know,
cleaner.
and the cleaners, they deserve so much love and respect.
So
They really deserve so much more.
So then, what's the most overlooked part of their job then?
The most overlooked part of a job is not how important the job is,
Mhm.
but because of the position they hold.
That is
Because
that's
this is my thing, bro. Title, right?
right.
People that have assigned titles, to me, is just to make them feel important and make them feel good about themselves
Mhm.
and make other people feel in a way, not intentionally, but unintentionally, like, oh, because I'm a regional, I'm better than you. You're
Right.
just a maintenance. Because I'm a maintenance, I'm better than you. Because you're a cleaner,
Mhm.
or I'm a supervisor, I'm better than you because you're just a maintenance. No, that's a title.
Yeah.
Remove the title, you are still a human being like everybody else.
Mhm.
And because the cleaners have that label, cleaners,
Right.
and in the apartment industry, yeah, I'll say it. In the apartment industry, the majority of the cleaners
Mhm.
are Hispanics.
Yeah. I can agree with you on that one.
The majority of the
Huge
cleaners,
majority.
yeah, the huge majority are Hispanics, and because of them being Hispanics, a lot of time they are looked down upon as less than. And bro, it irks my nerves. Like
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't like it
I agree.
because they are humans just like us.
Mhm.
Because of them, you as a resident can invite your family over and give them a tour of the amenity spaces that you enjoy because why? The cleaners prepare that for your enjoyment and for your comfort.
Mhm.
So for them to be looked down upon, it is atrocious.
And it's not just us cleaning up after the trash that's left in the hallways, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not us cleaning up after the animals when a resident walks their dog and they
Yeah.
urinate in the elevator or the corridor.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just us. Like most of the time too, we call a cleaner to do it because we are taking care of other things also. So sometimes we can't get to it,
Yeah.
and they're having to take that responsibility
Yeah.
to clean it as well. So it's just baffling, like we did talk about in episode 2, where
Mm-hmm.
everybody needs to take accountability.
They do.
And I
They
wish
do.
they would, because like sometimes that when they don't take accountability, that job is left on the cleaners, and it shouldn't be that way.
That is true. That is true. And because sometimes the accountability part also I also put some of it on the front office
Mhm.
staff, because if the front office staff, I mean, you can send out emails and say, hey, just be mindful of this, be mindful of that, like, hey, the property isn't non-smoking property, or
Mhm.
or if you use the grill, clean up after yourselves, stuff like
Right.
that, right? Don't just send out an email and just say it. You have to enforce it.
Yeah.
Enforce it, not to be a dictator,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
But enforce it so not only you can be accountable, but you can be mindful, because you are living in a shared space where everybody else
Mhm.
use the amenities that you enjoy. It's not just for you. It's not your place.
Right.
The space that you live in belongs to you. The amenity belongs to everyone. So we should be mindful and be discretionate of others.
Mhm.
And that is how you have compassion. That's how you have empathy
Right.
towards other people.
Exactly. And cleaning just isn't a physical job, of course. It's emotional.
It
Just
is.
think about when you're cleaning up after somebody that left damage behind, or even tragedy.
Yeah, yeah,
Think about that.
yeah.
Like some especially like some of the physical things. What would be some of the physical attributes that they have to use?
Yeah. I could attest to that. We had some residents that moved out recently, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the way they left the apartment, it was really bad.
Right.
And trashing out the apartment, you have like 17 bags of trash in the apartment, but the appliances like
Mhm.
microwave and the fridge and the range and the dishwasher and stuff, it was so dirty. The countertops was atrocious.
Yeah.
And
Had to replace a few floor planks in there too.
have to replace a few vinyl planks in there from cigarette burns or
Mhm.
whatever it is, whatever they were doing at the time, right?
Right.
And We went in there, did our thing, and the next day, cleaners had to go in. No, I'm sorry. The next day, you had the painters had to go in paint. Then the cleaners had to go in behind and clean that up.
Right.
Right. The emotional part of it is not the hard work that they have to do also, but sometimes, bro, let's say that particular apartment has a move-in date for next week.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the blue, somebody can be like, "Oh, I want that apartment. Hey, can we push this up to tomorrow?"
Mm-hmm.
So now the cleaners, they already have a list
Yeah.
of all of the units that they have to, make ready for the week that's already been leased,
Right.
just waiting for the date to happen so it can be occupied.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have to add that in. That's supposed to be for next week, and that unit now is for tomorrow, and you push the date on them.
Yeah.
And instead of you, going over to them and thanking them and appreciating them and
Yeah.
just saying, "Hey, I'm so sorry that this happened. It was just like a last minute thing, and
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Is there anything that we can do to help?" Bro, there is no gesture, no good gesture that has been extended to them.
Not at all.
Hey, can you tell the cleaners to do this?
Yeah. And now we have to go and try to figure out how we can get
How
them
we
to
can
do
help
it.
them, yeah.
Sometimes we would change their schedule around, like, okay, don't worry about this unit today.
Mhm.
Just go ahead and do this one, because during their morning routine, they're doing the office, the amenity
Right.
spaces, the hallways.
Yeah.
They probably have like another 2 hours or so to clean, to start even cleaning units, to do
Mhm.
turns, get some ready for a spiff clean for a move in. And then if something gets thrown on their plate, you got to go and talk to them and be like, hey, such and such, or Miss Lady, you know, I know you have this, but you do this one first, and then we can give you that one to do tomorrow, so that way you don't overwhelm them. Because when you're constantly coming to them and saying, "Hey, can you run here? Can you do this? Can you do this?" and you're actually stopping them from what they're trying to do.
You are.
You're stopping them from cleaning that bathroom because you had to go and say, "Hey, can you go clean up this area in the hallway that a resident had let their dog urinate on?" And you got to stop what you're doing. That's emotional. That can bog down. It's like, damn, am I
Yeah.
a machine or am I a human being?
Yeah.
I just can't keep running and running and running and running.
And also to add to that, whenever they do that, they basically messed up the flow of efficiency.
Yeah,
Because the cleaners, they have their own method
they do.
of how
Their
to stay
workflow is
efficient,
different.
right?
Right.
So once you do that and you just decide to take a wrench and just throw it in there, you mess up the flow of efficiency, right?
Right.
And then they start to make mistakes that they normally wouldn't make.
Mhm.
And who's gonna get the blame? Not you that threw the wrench into the tire,
That's right.
but is the person that's riding the bike is gonna get the blame.
That's true.
So the cleaners will get the blame. Well, hey, this is not cleaned properly, and there's a spot here, and there's a spot there, and there's a spot there. That's because you decide to move 2 units 2 days
Mhm.
ahead of its official lease date, which should be a week later.
That's yeah.
And also with that, sometimes we would be in units working, and because the date has moved up, sometimes we are uninformed of the change that happened. So it would be maintenance in the apartment industry, and I mean not in the apartment industry, maintenance in the unit
Mhm.
and cleaners in the same unit at the same time,
Yep.
trying to get stuff done. So now we are in each other's way.
And you're working on top of each other.
And you're working on top of each other, and that can be frustrating.
Mhm.
And a lot of the cleaners, they are not fluent in English,
Mhm.
and sometimes that can be frustrating on their part because they want to convey something that can probably help both of us, but
Right.
because they're not fluent in English, and we are not fluent in Spanish either, right? So now that's gonna be a bad dynamic right there.
Exactly.
And there is no proper communication because nobody can't understand each other's grievances, right?
Right.
So most times For me personally, what I would do if I'm working on top of a cleaner and I see they have a lot to do, bro, I would just do what I have to do in the unit, and I would also help them do what they have to do and then leave. Because my thing is, they didn't wake up in the morning to come to work to endure this kind of stress.
Right.
And that's for me too. So if there's something that I can do to assist so both of us can have a less stressful day, I would do it.
Okay.
I would do it.
So let's talk about unspoken expectations versus real expectations. What are some of the unspoken ones that you see in the industry that they expect from cleaners?
One of the unspoken expectations is what I just mentioned about having a unit ready 5 days before the release time.
Right.
That is one. Also, they expect the cleaners to be perfect, even though you threw once again a wrench into the tire, right?
Right.
You expect the ride to be smooth, no bumps, no hiccups, and the reality is, once again, they're human.
Yeah.
And like you said, cleaning is not just physical, it is also emotional.
Right.
And once you disrupt a person's emotional state, everything else is going to go downhill. It's going to be a domino effect. The efficiency is gonna go down.
Yep.
You know, the output that you expect is gonna go down.
Right.
Because you as a leasing agent or whoever you might be in the front office didn't have the discernment or even sit back to think, oh, I wonder if this person have a lot going on today. You know, um, have empathy about the other person.
Yes.
So because you have no empathy about that person, and you're just thinking about how you can get this lease, so you can get this commission or get the bonus or whatever, thinking about you, and you don't care what it takes because you want to look good.
Let's not even go. We can take that a little further. We can take that onto like the expectation as far as unspoken whenever the front office staff or whoever is leasing the unit has an expectation of when they want it to get done, how they want it to get done, how fast and efficient they want it to get done.
Yeah.
Think about the expectations of the resident that's moving in. They want the place to be immaculate. They want it to be go in there with a white glove because pretty much every resident I've seen, not well, I wouldn't say all of them, but there are a large majority of them.
Yeah.
They go in a unit with a white glove and they meticulously pick at every single thing in that unit. And we said this before when we talked about like just the errors in the unit, like paint and stuff like that. But also we didn't talk about the cleaning aspect.
Yeah.
The way they go in and just like rub their hands on the stove and say, hey, there's some dust here, like my unit wasn't clean. Or if there happened to be like a small little fly or something that got into the unit, and it's in the corner or something like that, my unit isn't clean. They like to come in with that keen eye and be like, my unit wasn't done properly. You need to get somebody back in here. And we would most of the time send the cleaner back in there to do another spiff clean. At the same time, they have to understand that once that unit is ready and everybody signed off on it, then that unit's done.
It is done.
It is done. And just because like we changed the air filter and stuff, like no matter what, you're gonna get dust that still settles. Dust is everywhere.
Even in a single family home.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the apartments it's an enclosed space. So there's not a lot of open space that you would find in a single family home.
Right.
So given that the space is enclosed and there's no a lot of them don't have the flow of natural air coming from the outside inside, and it's recirculating. Thank you, recirculating that air and eliminating some of the dust that would accumulate. It's gonna come through the vents. It's gonna come through. I mean,
it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen, and no matter what, you're gonna get a fly here and there. Like we do walk the unit like right before people come in and kind of like give it a little quick sweep or whatever, just to like make sure so we don't get any more any issues that they may bring up.
Yeah,
But I just think it's important that people understand like these cleaners are busting their behinds,
they are,
and
bro.
truthfully, they clean a lot better than you would clean your own house. Honestly,
Oh, that's facts.
it's a science. Like people don't understand it's a science of cleaning.
It is. It is a
It's a
science cleaning,
certain
bro.
technique. You can't just go
Yeah.
in and just wipe stuff down. They have to use a certain chemical. They have to know how to use that chemical. It's a way that they do things that most people can't do. And
Facts.
I guarantee you 100%, half of the people that move in that are very meticulous, their apartment will never be as clean as it was when the cleaner cleaned it for them to move in. And then when they move out and they clean it themselves, they'll never get it to that point because the cleaners know what to do and they know how to bring a unit from point A to point B to C to giving it back to.
And we have experienced that a lot.
Yes.
We've experienced that a lot.
Yes.
There's a lot of new residents that will come in and they are so meticulous about things.
Mhm.
And so who's looking? Don't cap, no capitalism. Yep, I just made that word up.
No capitalism.
Some of y'all,
some of
y'all be on HGTV, right? Looking at stuff behind the lens of somebody else's camera, and you guys are looking at post edits of perfection when they add different lighting and different color to give you the cinematic effect or the dramatic effect or whatever it is.
Right.
And or you might see something on a house on Instagram or TikTok for about the 15 to 30-second reel or 30 to 60 seconds, and you come in here with you come into a new apartment with an HGTV / social media mentality. That is not the reality. That's not reality. That is just something that you see from behind the screen and it looks perfect. But once you get there in to the physical place in person, that is the reality of what it looks like. Trust me, a camera can make anybody look pretty.
Right.
Adding some filters and some things can make it look immaculate. But once you go in person and see that thing, all of the layers that hide the true identity of that thing from the lens of the camera, that is the reality. So don't come with that mindset of everything is going to be perfect, and whatever you see on TV or on social media and you apply it to your mind, that is not what it's going to be. It's not.
And honestly, it's close to it in my opinion because no, now like they're doing more construction and they're building more places, so everything is basically new. You got all of these places that have beautiful layouts. They got beautiful amenities, and when people are coming to these buildings and they're seeing these nice things, these units are nice. The cleaners are just there to sparkle it, make it look shiny, make it look pretty, but the imperfections, there's going to be always imperfections because construction is not perfect. A drywall area, some drywall is not all the way even to, you can't see it, but we can tell that it's there because we've been in the industry for a long time. And with these cleaners, they're going to make it look as close to the picture as possible, which it will be because these are new units. These are not D properties.
Right.
These are A properties, like immaculate, beautiful properties.
Yeah.
So when you try to act like being very meticulous about certain things that cleaners aren't doing, trust me, they've done it and they've done it twice even before you got there.
Yeah.
And some people just have a gripe about like they want to. I think, in my opinion, I think it's more of like control.
Yeah.
It's more of a control thing. They want to feel like, this is my space. I want to control everything that happens in my space, because when you're in the apartment industry, you're paying your rent. It's expensive,
Oh yeah, for
rent
sure.
Is high. Rent is very high, and they want to feel like they have some type of control because you're just giving your money away. And I think that's where it all roots down from.
Yeah.
And I think it's not a good thing when people do that, because then you kind of down other people and talk about their job. Just imagine if we went to your job and we picked out every little thing, and you would be like, "Oh, that's small. That's nothing to really worry about because it's a clean place. It's this, is that."
Or or you would say, hey, you can't come to my job and do this because it's going to get me fired, it's going to
Yeah.
get me in trouble,
hmm
I don't know you or whatnot. So we can go to residents' job, or and we
I would love
include
to. Some
we
of them.
yeah we are inclusive of
I'm being real.
property managers, supervisors, maintenance tech, leasing agents, cleaners.
hmm
We cannot go to residents' job and do the same thing to them on their job the way they do to us on our job.
That's a fact.
This industry,
And that's the emotional part that
exactly.
we were talking about.
Yeah.
You're going to people's jobs and you're being very picky about certain things that
And
you don't know.
dismissive,
They probably
yeah.
had 2 strikes already because another 2 or 3 people complained about them, and it wasn't their fault. Not
Mhm.
saying they don't have any accountability, but most of the time our cleaners do wonderful jobs. It's just people that
They
are
do.
very
They
very
do.
picky about little minute things that aren't important. And they don't understand that could be that person's last strike, and they're like, I don't know
Yeah,
what's
bro.
going on.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, some cleaners do have other people above them on their supervisors. Also, they're difficult to work with because
Yeah.
they're very picky as well. And when they try to pick apart every little thing they're doing, they're looking for a reason to get rid of them, looking for a reason, because it's all about a power trip at the end of the day. Residents having a power trip because they want a little bit of control because they're giving away thousands of dollars. The cleaning supervisor has a power trip because she wants control, or he wants control because
Mhm.
he feels like he's running a tight ship and he is the man or woman for the job. It's just everybody just needs to have a little bit more empathy
Yeah. And
for each other.
Yeah. Sometimes residents also say, you know what? I pay a lot of rent here, so I
We-
expect this, this, this. First of all,
We hear that a lot.
we
hear that a lot.
You pay a lot of rent for where you live because that is your choice.
Mm-hmm.
That's not our choice. That's your choice. Our job is to provide a service to you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because we are working for a company and not for you.
That's right.
And a lot of residents think that the property managers, the supervisors, the leasing agents, the maintenance tech, the cleaners are working for them. So they have every right to cast disparagement, on the front office and the back office,
Mhm.
right? And that's not the way it should be,
Right.
So, and I feel it for cleaners the most, right? Because,
Right.
like I say, the majority of cleaners in the industry are Hispanics. And we all know how Hispanics get treated. Let's not sugarcoat it. You know what I'm saying? And we need to do better. We need to be better. We need to change the way we view cleaners.
Mhm.
And we need to break this stereotype of cleaners being less important, because they're not.
All right. And they do have families that have dreams, that have goals.
Yeah.
And they do deserve to be respected and treated like any other employee on site.
They do.
Let me ask you, Mike, what would happen if we had no cleaners staff for a week? Just a week. What would happen?
If we had no cleaning staff for a week,
Yeah, just a week.
let me tell you, all of the leasing agents in the leasing office
Yeah.
that sit behind the desk
Uh-huh.
and and do the administrative work and whatnot, they will be the ones that will be cleaning those units. Also,
Mhm.
it would include the maintenance technician and the supervisor pitching in, especially because the list is going to get long,
Right.
and we need to complete it because we already give the potential resident our word that, hey, you can move in on Friday,
Mhm.
and you can move in on Saturday, and you can move in on Monday. If there's no cleaners there for a week,
Yeah.
and now the responsibility is upon us and the leasing agents and
Rest
whatnot,
of the team, yeah.
that is when a lot of people, not the new residents that's coming into the place, but people who are there,
Right.
especially the office staff, including us, right? That's when you're going to realize the importance of the cleaners.
Right. And you explained the situation that happens that I'm not sure if it is now, but I know back then when I was working for a D property that was they're very bad. The situation you explained, that's what we did.
Yeah.
Leasing agents would come in the morning.
Yeah.
They would take their own trash. They would wipe their own desk down. They would clean their office space all for themselves. And maintenance would come in and we would clean the amenity spaces. We would do everything that a cleaner would do basically.
That's crazy.
We worked in breezeways back then on these these properties. So
I did too. I did
we
too
would
in
have
South
to pressure
Carolina.
wash them and everything.
Yeah.
But when you're working in a D property, you don't get that luxury because the budget is very tight. So people don't understand, like, if you go into these D properties, this is what you're going to experience. Having a cleaner in these luxury properties, it is a luxury.
It is a luxury.
It is a luxury. Like, it's something that you should be happy to have, because if it wasn't, the whole staff would have to chip in and clean these spaces.
And after everybody chip in and clean the spaces, I promise you, most of the time, it is not going to look as immaculate as how it would look if cleaners actually clean the
Exactly,
space.
because they would half behind do it.
Because like you say, bro, it's a science to it.
Yeah.
It's a science. And not everybody got that science down packed. It's a science to it.
Every morning when they have to clean their own stuff, the first thing they're going to say when they walk in is, God dang.
Man.
I knew it was too good to be true.
I ain't paid for this, man.
I need a raise. Hey, straight up, bro. That's real. That's real,
bro. Facts. Straight up, bro. Straight up.
Oh man. So okay, let me ask you this, Mike. So let's hit some talking points. Let's talk about, like, breaking the stereotypes of cleaners being less important. Like, what can we do about that, and how can we support their emotional well-being?
We can support their emotional well-being by, it's simple, being kind.
Yeah.
Being kind. Sometimes it doesn't take money, or it doesn't take material things.
Yeah.
Bro, kindness can take you a long way. And I always stress this: be kind to people that you don't know, because everybody that you encountered on a daily basis, you have no idea what that person is going through.
Right.
And that person has no idea of what you're going through.
Yeah.
So we all should be kind to each other. And by you being kind towards cleaners, because this episode is about the cleaners, by people being kind towards the cleaners, it's going to make their day so much better.
Yeah.
Like, I promise you, they will probably come into work that morning not feeling like doing nothing, but because of your kindness, it makes them believe that, you know what, I am built for this. I can do this, and I can do it at a high level, and I can be excellent at what I do and produce that and have everyone see how excellent I am by the job that I do.
Right. But it's not also too on, not saying it's not on, the staff to take care. I would also too, like, when you want to break the stereotype of the cleaner feeling less important, I would say, like, even residents, like, if you see a cleaner in the hallway, thank them. Thank them for keeping your place nice. Thank them for coming in and day out and making sure your place is presentable for you and your family to enjoy. Like, they would like that. Because I've been in places where I've seen a few residents here and there will stop the cleaners and say thank you, muchos gracias, thank you for cleaning. Some are fluent in Spanish, some talk to them and thank them for everything. So I just think it's important that it's not just on us to kind of make them feel important and make them feel special. I think their residents also should do a part in making them feel special, because they're there doing stuff day in and day out without asking for a dime, or not even a dime, not yet asking for anything. They're just there to make the place look presentable and get it to up to par where it needs to be.
Because you said that, that is the reason why a lot of people don't look at it like this, but it actually means what you just said. That's the reason why apartment is called apartment community.
That's right.
It's where everybody commune, congregate, fellowship with each other. That is what it is.
I agree.
That's the reason why they put community. Because if you go to certain places where they have the commune,
Yep.
it's everybody in one space, congregating with with each other, being nice to each other,
Yep.
being empathetic
hmm
of each other,
I agree.
hey, how are you? Sometimes a how are you can stop somebody from thinking about suicide
That is
or
true.
think, because bro, it plays a mental role. The
Right.
mentality, not the mentality, but the emotional side of the human being
hmm
plays a big role in how productive they are or how unproductive they are, whether it is in their personal lives or in
Right.
their professional lives. So being nice and showing kindness to people,
Yep.
it is important, and we should do it more. We should
Mhm.
do it more.
So that actually, what you explained goes into like some of our talking points where we're talking about cleaners
hmm
being treated properly, being treated as part of the team, or being treated as equals.
hmm
What is there a time where you've ever seen a cleaner being disrespected or treated poorly?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Can you give an example of how that looks? Because some people don't understand that, the type of attitudes from employees and residents that they get, because they can get attitudes from both. And I've seen a cleaner being treated poorly by a resident one time.
I was just
Um,
about to give that story too.
catching them like in a hallway and telling them they need to go down and clean what they just saw in the amenity that they cleaned that morning, but somebody came through and made a complete mess. And just because they were having family come through, they
Mhm.
wanted a trash can removed, or they wanted something to be wiped off of this, because people are there in that amenity spaces day in and day out.
Yeah.
And they try to kind of, some residents try to use cleaners as their personal cleaning people.
True. They're not
And
your personal mates.
yeah,
I know a lot of y'all have seen the movie The Help. They are not
not
the help.
my boy said the help.
No, somebody's got to say, bro.
The
Somebody's
help was
got
a
to
little
say
different though.
it is. But
But I get the correlation.
I was just about to explain that, but you get it. You get
the
it.
correlation, bro.
No, they're not. You are not living in a mansion and you have a personal butler and
Uh-huh.
a personal maid and staff that all you have to do is ring the bell or clap twice.
Tap tap.
They're
Yeah.
like, "Hello, ma'am. How may I be of service?"
Mhm.
No, they're not that.
Not at all.
They're not that. At the
Right.
end of every Friday or every 2 weeks or however they get paid, the paycheck doesn't have the resident's name on it. It has the company that they work for.
hmm
That is who is paying the checks, right? So don't treat them like they're beneath you, because they're not. They are human beings. They are equals just like you. Because the top of your mountain is the bottom of someone else's.
That's true. That's well said.
I'm preaching today.
Right.
You
Preach
preaching
on.
today.
Preach on, brother.
Huh?
Preach on. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
She bye bye bye.
My boy crazy as hell, man.
Man.
So Mike, I pretty much we gone through a bunch of things. So do you want to get into maybe a testimonial?
Yes. And the testimonial is coming from a cleaner, right?
Mhm.
And this cleaner is exceptional. Like I love hanging around this cleaner.
Yeah.
She is amazing. Like, she's really amazing.
She's got a
She
really
should
beautiful
be
personality.
amazing personality. I believe, or not I believe, but yes, I believe
Mhm.
that she should be more compensated than she's being
Oh,
compensated right
absolutely.
now. For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. And I'm not gonna say her name,
Mhm.
but let us just call her Ari.
Right.
Right? So Ari is an amazing person,
Mhm.
amazing soul. She actually loves what she do.
She does.
She really, really love her job. And because of how we make her feel,
Mm-hmm.
because she has the understanding that we are in the same boat as her.
Mhm.
We in the same boat. but,
You gonna float. You gonna float it
but
for
we in
the
the same, we are in the same boat as her because, like I said, maintenance technicians, supervisors, and cleaners
Mhm.
are sometimes, well, not sometimes, but often looked down upon.
Yeah.
And that is true.
We are the go-tos.
That is true in the entire
everything, yeah.
industry.
Yeah.
Not just one apartment community or another apartment community,
That's right.
but in the entire industry.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why I know I'm going off topic, but
It's all
that's
right.
the reason why this podcast is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why we are advocating for cleaners,
Yeah.
for maintenance technicians,
Mm-hmm.
including the leasing agents and people that's in management as well, because
Yeah.
everybody feels their own level of discrimination
Mm-hmm.
in the workplace.
Yeah.
Or feel less than.
Right.
It doesn't matter the position, because somebody can be a regional and you can look at the region and be like, oh my gosh, she's got it made. But the person that is over her is looking at her or him as less than.
Yep.
So everybody goes through this.
Everybody gets beat upon.
Yeah,
for
everybody
sure.
gets beat upon. But because I am a maintenance technician, I can only speak from the lens that I view these things from, right?
Right.
Which would be the cleaners, us supervisors,
Mhm.
because we're always talking and congregating with each other more than we do with the front office. And the reason why that is because the units that we have to go and perform to make ready, so it can be immaculate.
Yeah.
Those are the same units that the cleaners have to go clean up after us. So we're always bumping into each other, having conversations, right?
Right.
And that is the reason why we decide to dedicate this episode to all cleaners in the apartment industry, in the hotel industry, whatever industry cleaners are involved in.
Yeah.
Man,
They are the
we salute you.
MVPs.
You are the real MVP. You're the GOATs. But Ari said something that is very important, and you guys should take a listen to what she says.
So when we asked Ari about like how she felt about the industry and how she feels that they need to be treated, this is what Ari said. She said, "Thank you all for giving me a chance to voice my opinion. As an apartment housekeeper, we are often overlooked and sometimes even avoided. I can't speak for everyone, but I believe the most important way management can support us cleaners is simple: respect. Yes, we're here to do a job, and most of the time it's done well. I don't think most cleaners leave because of the work itself. They leave because of how they're treated." And we touched on that.
Yeah.
First of all, we're not personal maids. Please pick up after yourselves.
Yeah.
It makes our jobs much easier. Treat us the way you would like to be treated. This type of work is often overlooked, is often looked down on, but that's not an excuse to be rude or dismissive. Many of the women I work with don't speak perfect English, but we can still pick up on tone. That's a big difference between asking for something and demanding it. At the end of the day, I believe the best support is communication. It's 2025. There are live translation tools now. No more excuses. Shout out to Ari for that one.
Woof, woof, woof.
That was well said.
Well said, Ari.
Like, I mean, everything that Ari has said, we touched on for sure. And this is coming from the mouth of somebody that is doing it day in and day out, that we interact with. And she does an amazing job. She has a great personality. And I think that's just wonderful hearing it come from her, because everything that we thought about is everything that she's saying. Yeah. And I think it's important, man. We got to treat our cleaners with much respect, much love, and, treat them as an equal and not look down upon and not be dismissive about what they do.
One thing I'll say, the same way that we go above and beyond to meet the expectation of the residents in the apartment industry, the things that we would do for them to make them happy and to keep them happy and to let them always have a good experience and a good stay at their homes, the same way maintenance technicians, supervisors, property managers, leasing agents, cleaners should be treated.
That's right.
In every apartment property, the front office, the front office would be answering to the complaints of residents, right? And they have to deal with being cussed out, being called everything else but a child of God, and they still have to pretend to pretend to pretend to have a hard shell. And like, hey, in this job you got to have thick skin, and it's all for the good of the company. They have to balance that emotion with their own emotion. And when they leave that job to go home to their families, they have to pretend to be the perfect mom to their kids or the amazing wives to their husband and vice versa, right? And cleaners are the same. If residents talk to cleaners in a disrespectful way and always being dismissive, then they have to take that home to their family and pretend to be good and pretend to be this perfect person that the family members see, and then they go into a room or a dark corner and cry. And sometimes they want to give up. Sometimes they want to commit suicide or do something that they would have never thought of doing. And that's because of how you treat them and how they treat you. So it is not a one-way street, it is a two-way street. And all of us got to be on the same page.
Right.
We are going on one side of the street and you're coming up the other side. Be nice to each other. Say, hey, how are you doing?
That means a lot.
It means a lot
to them when they
It means a lot.
some of their best days is when somebody thanks them
Yeah.
for what they're doing, because they know it goes overlooked day in and day out. It can be a whole 2 months before anybody ever says thank you to them. And what you touched on is like, whenever somebody's being disrespectful or bringing that energy, because energy is transferable. Like whenever somebody brings that energy to the leasing staff and the leasing staff brings it to the maintenance guy, or the maintenance guy brings it to the cleaner, then the cleaner takes it home. But everybody also takes that home to their families as well.
Everybody, bro.
And I understand when people say, like, try not to be hard on the residents because they're just having a bad day, and don't take it personal because it's not you that they're frustrated about. I call bullshit. Like, they know better than to come and bring whatever they had on their bad day and bring it into that office, or bring it into whoever that's in front of them at their place where they live. Don't transfer that energy. It's not a good thing, because you don't understand what that person can be going through. That energy can get transferred at home, and they can be treating their spouse, their children, different ways of, domestic abuse and stuff like that.
Trying to let it out.
Things happen because everybody needs to release that energy that they pull from another person. And I think, like, if everybody can just be nicer with each other and really understand, like, we're all trying to do this thing together and this is what we all need, I think that'll be more important, and it could change the narrative and change the landscape of how cleaners feel. Because you don't have to treat them like the bottom feeders. Treat them that their job is important. Without them, this place would not, be immaculate.
Yeah. Cleaners and maintenance tech and supervisors are the foundation of the industry and how the industry is being run.
And like you said, but now let's ask this question. So what can managers and owners do to support cleaning staff?
So this is I'll take that as a two-part question.
Okay.
So the managers I would relate to is the managers for the company that the cleaners work for.
Right.
A lot of these companies, they have contracts, right? That they are committed to from, let us say, 2, 3, 4 different apartment companies, right?
Right.
And a lot of those contracts are huge. they make a lot of money, right?
True, because they've got all these buildings.
Right. So they can, like I said, they can give them fair wages.
Oh,
Cleaners deserve to be paid better than what they're
and
making
I
now.
think they get paid less than, man. I honestly, I don't think cleaners are even. They might be in the $20 range, but I don't think they're that far up. And if they are, it's probably like between $16 and $18, if anything.
And that is
I have to
nothing.
look that up and see.
Yeah. That's nothing though, because it can be $16, $18 an hour that a
Mhm.
cleaner is making, and a cleaner is giving you $100 an hour job with the effort that they're putting into their jobs,
Yeah.
right? So they should be paid fair wages.
Mhm.
Also, they deserve benefits, like whatever benefits they're getting.
Yeah.
Well, we have had a chat with some cleaners, and um, one of them had to go and get new glasses.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh snap! Did you use your benefits to get it? Oh, I don't have benefits to get glasses. This is out of pocket.
Yeah.
So you are being overworked, underpaid, and the things that you need, such as glasses, to
Yeah.
continue to perform your
Yep.
tasks at a high level and continue to be excellent in the eyes of everyone
Mhm.
that has that expectation of you.
Right.
You are not getting benefits to get something that is important to you,
Mhm.
something that you need. That's not good.
No.
That's not good.
That's something
Cleaning
that needs to
companies, if
change.
you're listening to this podcast,
Yep.
or anyone who happens to be a cleaner
Mhm.
that is listening to this podcast, please share it with your boss, your supervisor. It needs to be heard.
Yep.
Please, please give them better wages and
Mhm.
better benefits.
Better.
Because of them, you are in business.
That's true.
Don't forget that.
Don't forget that at all.
Don't forget that. Because of cleaners, man, you guys are in business. Without them, there will be no cleaning company.
That's true.
None.
And then
Period.
just to rattle off a few things that they also need, providing better tools and equipment for them. Those are some things. Also, too, they need time. They need time off.
Better
Cleaners
time off.
cleaners work more days than anybody.
They do.
Sometimes
7 days a week.
I've worked on properties where they demand to have a cleaner there on Sunday. They demand to have a cleaner there on a holiday.
Yeah.
And these cleaning companies would find another cleaner that are willing to work those days, but you know
Mhm.
they're human beings too. They got families. They deserve to have time off as well. You know, the amenity spaces that when people are when the people are off and they have these holidays and families are using these amenity spaces, make the residents clean up behind themselves. We got cameras in there. We
I
can
was
see
just
who's
about
in
to touch
there.
on that.
You know who's in there.
Yeah.
Find them. You
Yeah.
left the place a mess. It's not a good thing. Don't leave it for the cleaner to do it.
Nah, bro, I was just about to touch on that, right?
Mhm.
Because in every apartment complex,
Right.
they rent out the amenity spaces for events that a resident might have, right?
Right.
And we have witnessed this so many times. You know, residents would have an event in one of the amenity spaces, have
Mhm.
everybody come out, their family members, friends, and friends of friends come
Right.
out, and because they know that there is a cleaner on site 7 days a week,
Mhm.
after the event is over, a lot of times they don't clean up after themselves.
Yeah.
They just leave it there
Oh,
and just
I've seen it many times.
and just leave it there for the cleaners to come by and clean it.
Yep.
And that is not cool. First of all, you are an adult and you should be responsible enough to clean up after yourself.
That's true.
Especially if you have an event and you have, let's say, kids involved.
Yeah.
You should be an example to the kids that's looking up to you, because they are the future generation. Teach them cleanliness. Cleanliness will take you a long way,
Yep.
And because you clean up after yourself, it means that you're being compassionate and considerate of the cleaners that have to come in after you.
Facts.
Sometimes these cleaners their family can have, let's say, a baby shower,
Mhm.
a birthday party, or a family member who could be sick. but they have to leave their personal lives behind to come on a day that is a holiday for you, but it's
Right.
not for them. To clean up after your mess, that is not cool.
Not at all.
Guys, we need to do better.
We're all
Have
adults.
to do better.
We're all adults.
Yeah.
We are all adults. Okay, so what does respect actually look like in the workplace, and how can supervisors make their cleaners feel more valued?
Well,
Before you even answer that question, are we talking about? Well, am I asking about, is it maintenance, about how maintenance supervisors make them feel valued, or because I know you did touch on what their supervisors do, but
excuse me.
I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
what can maintenance supervisors do while they're there on the job to make them feel more valued?
That's a good question, because earlier today we have had this discussion. By the way, shout out to my supervisor for sure.
That's right.
Shout out to my supervisor, man. He really cares about the cleaners.
Mm-hmm.
And to your question, what he would do, he would look at the board, right?
Right.
Because I can only speak for the supervisor that I work with.
Right.
He looks at the board and he would list like how many units that needs to be cleaned, needs to be walked for that week.
Right.
And he would make sure that it is not overwhelming for the cleaner by putting all of the units at a close date, where it's back to back to back to back to back, and they don't have no time to do nothing.
Right.
He always makes sure that the cleaners have they have space to breathe and to relax before the next unit. He's very considerate of how hard they work already.
Yep.
And he tries to make their work lighter, because he's also been in situations where managers for other properties would have one cleaner cleaning the entire property, and they just piling stuff on them, piling stuff on them, not even caring about what they're already going through. You know, that is not being a leader, that is being a boss.
Right.
There's a difference between being a boss and being a leader. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A boss to me is a dictator. A leader is someone that leads by example. In order for me to lead by example, I must be willing to forget my position, because my position means nothing.
Oh, I can attest
the person
to that.
that I am and my character, that means more.
Right.
Roll up your sleeves. Lead by example. Get down in the trenches with your team.
Right.
And speaking again, down in the trenches with your team, my previous property manager, who recently got promoted, one thing I can say is that she roll up her sleeves and get down in the trenches with the maintenance team, with cleaners, with, man, shout outs to her.
Shout outs to her.
Shout outs to her.
Yeah. And I can attest, like, what Mike is talking about, because I was a supervisor for quite some time. And during my time there, we was in one of the most prestigious high rises out here in Atlanta. Yeah. And we've had everything we did was in-house. Like, we had a company that would come in and clean, but most of the stuff we did in-house. So whenever I would see how the cleaners are bogged down with everything, I would actually clean the units myself. Like, if I know I've given her too many units and that, they're asking for this other unit, I would go in with a bucket and a mop and, cleaning supplies, and I would clean the unit myself. Yeah. I've done whole move outs where we painted in-house. I would clean the unit after we painted. I mean, details. So that's how I can speak to how well cleaners clean and how it's a science to what they do, because, like, having to wipe everything down in a unit that has hair in it, it's hard to get rid of hair.
Oh,
it really is hard to get rid of hair. So
it's difficult.
Hair sticks to everything. So watching those and having to be a part of that and even doing it, you learn the way of paying attention to more detail,
right,
and how certain things need to look, and how to wipe off something better to make sure it doesn't have a trace of anything left. So I can definitely attest to what you said, Mike, because I've done it, and I've done it for years on end just to help my cleaners out.
I've also been in your shoes too, and that's the reason why I am passionate about the people that keep the apartment complex clean, they should be celebrated.
Yep.
You know, they should. I mean, give them their flowers.
Give them their flowers.
Let them know. Let them know how important that they are.
They are important.
They're very important. Very important, man. So,
to every cleaner listening, we just want to say we thank you. We see you, and we're happy to have you a part of the team. And thank you for coming in and day out and doing a job so selfless.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate you. And we just want to give you your flowers.
So, one, your work matters.
Yep.
You create dignity, you create order, and pride in every space that you touch.
That's right.
So, thank you from me and from my co-host,
Fred.
Thank you guys so much. You guys are appreciated more than you know. And if nobody else don't see you, we see you.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why this podcast is important. And that's the reason why we create this podcast, to shed a light on the unsung heroes. Because they say not all heroes wear cape. Some heroes are people that cleaned.
That's true.
That's the most important asset to the apartment community. So to all the cleaners, I salute you. I commend you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for everything that you do. And if there's anything that we can do to help you make your day go better or your job more efficient, please leave a comment and just let us know how we can all play our part in making each other's lives better.
That's right. And I would want everyone that's watching this episode that are in the apartment industry to shout out your cleaners. You know, tell them you appreciate them. Tell them thank you.
Yeah.
You know, that's the least you can do.
Yeah.
And mean it. You know, don't just say it just to say it. Like, have some discernment to it. Like, let them know, like, you really do appreciate them. And, you know, share this episode with everyone, your managers, your coworkers, anyone who needs a reminder.
Yeah.
That to know, like, you cleaners are very important and we appreciate you.
They are. So with that said, man, it has been an amazing ride thus far. We are 3 episodes in, and I'm happy about it. And I can't wait for the next episode. We have so much in store for you guys.
We sure do.
Thank you for coming on this journey with us. Please continue to like, share, subscribe, comment. Even if your comment is good or bad, all press is good press.
That's right.
And we
talk about some of your experiences.
Yeah, and we welcome constructive feedback.
Yeah,
as well, because we're not in this to make ourselves look good. We are in this to make everyone better, including us, because we all need to improve in our lives, man.
That's right.
So from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Love, peace. Yow.
My boy.
Today was a good
episode
day.
3 is a wrap.
Today was a good. Today was
Peace.
Oh man, that was good.
Yeah, that was a really good episode.
Let's go.
Maintenance.